This episode, it's tool review time. We're going to review the Chapman Manufacturing Master Set 5575. Well, John and I had a chance to review a tool set from Chapman Manufacturing. There's some stories that go behind it. We'll get into those things as we go. But Chapman is a company that's been in business since 1936. It is all American made, have a tremendous quality product. We are really looking forward to doing this review. Hey, folks, we just wanted to make a quick announcement. Chapman has given us a discount code. You have to listen to the video almost to the end, and we'll give you the details on the discount code. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros Radio Show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition's entitled The Chapman Manufacturing 5575 Tool Set Review. And to help me explain, I have my ever-cheerful co-host and old buddy, Johnny. Johnny? What has been going on besides trying to stay warm? It's been awful. Oof.
Yeah, and now we're in for a week of rain. So
that's right.
Wonderful. So it gets warmer and rains.
Yeah.
But you know, this past week it's been a plumbing week again. I don't know. You know, we keep saying, hey, things coming. You know, come in chunks like this, and I don't get it, but that's fine with me.
It's the way
it works.
Right?
I don't have to take my plumbing box out of the truck. So, you know, from one job to the other. But I did run across some things I had to take apart and put back together. And Larry, that's what we're going to be talking about here.
Johnny actually used these tools this week, which is outstanding. Yeah. So my week was basically, I did my usual to-do list things and just a couple of, I had to, and I had to re-glue a sink up yesterday. It had sunk in the middle, and I'm like, wish these guys would do their job in the first place. I mean, it actually come unattached from the granite in the center, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, just another day in the handyman business, I guess, is really all it is. So that's it. All right. Well, but before we get started with this tool review, don't forget, like and subscribe us, please. It helps us get the word out. Also, this video edition is going to be most important because we're actually going to show a lot of hands-on tools. Johnny's going to open the box on video. We're going to have a lot of visuals on this. So if you're listening to us on the podcast side, you might want to go over to YouTube and watch it on the video side, just because there really be a lot of things. While you're there, hit like and subscribe at video too. Again, we're trying to get the word out. We hope we're bringing you value. If we're not bringing you value, send us a note, let us know. Right? All right, Johnny, let's talk about the Chapman 5575 tool reviews kit. So this is called the Master Set, and it's called the Master Set for a reason, because it's basically got everything that they have as far as their screwdriver bits.
A lot of good general stuff in it and very specific stuff. And let me go down here, and hopefully that y'all can see this.
Yes, there it is. At least I see it anyway.
So these things have been around forever. Right, Larry? I mean, I know I've had a set of these when I was a kid. My father had a set of these. I know that you did, but,
well, my first experience came with these. So my grandfather worked for Pratt & Whitney during World War II. He was an an engineer, actually, and I remember using this kit in his basement, in the basement of his shop. He had a full both metal and woodworking shop in the basement of his house, and I remember working with these tools, when I was probably 5 or maybe before that. So, and I remember them mostly because of the little ratchet handle that we'll show.
That's what that's funny.
Right?
That's exactly the way I remember it too. I'm like, when I was a little kid, I'm like, look at that, a little ratchet, a little
ratchet for a little hand.
That was
right?
all for.
Yeah. And
my dad's like, where did all those bits go to?
Yeah. Well,
I just bought this thing.
My grandfather was rather fastidious. If you took his tools and didn't put them back, you got your hand smacked.
Right.
So he was very, very on the point. But Chapman again, they started in 1936 out of a garage, and the whole story is on their website. It's chapmanmfg.com. We do want to understand that. So they have their whole history and things on their website. But we just wanted, you saw the picture of it, and on the case of the cover, they do stress that they're made in America. And folks, I hate to say it, but this really does not prove, but boy, it's a great example of the difference between made in America and made in other places in the world.
These are pretty high quality. Let's take a look at what we got here. So I open this up.
Yeah. And one of the first things that I noticed is, number one, it has this really nice case, and John's going to show, and he's also going to show that piece of paper that comes with it is a description of all of what each of these sizes are and how much torque you can put on, and some of the differences in why you should use it. Really great stuff. I haven't received information like this in a toolkit. I don't know if I ever have. How to properly use the tool, how to, what are the strengths of these tools? How much torque do you put on them? Some of these are made just to use with your fingers, because if you put any more on it, you're going to break them.
So and that's a good point. What you notice here is all these different tools and all these different tips. Okay. Yes. Everything from slotted to Allen, hex, metric, and some standards in there.
Torques is in there. Yep.
Some Phillips.
Yep.
And
in all different
Robinson square heads in there.
There's square heads in there, and there's two different. So there's a handle, right? A traditional screwdriver handle, which I'm holding up there, which you can put into one of the other bits. There's two holder bits that come in there, so you get a chance to use those. But there's also the little ratchet that we talked about in just a few seconds ago, where it's just this little ratchet. I'm showing it, but you've also got it right there, John.
But let me walk through this, because this is really interesting. Because if you look at these, they actually have a knurled knob at the bottom of each tip.
Right.
Okay. So you can start off using your fingers on that.
Yes.
And that's, for some really delicate things, all the way up to the ratchet handle. They have a little knurled knob, little knurl.
And there you go.
That you can put on there.
That you actually can put on there. That's all included in the kit. One other thing that I just wanted to point out, John, if you would, squeeze the actual bit clips out, so they come out as an individual clip like that. Yeah, I mean, it's well designed.
Yeah,
and if you
one
of the things on this that I've noticed in other packaging that is not evident here is, John, hold that up the camera and just show the thickness of the plastic. I'm doing it as well. But do you see the thickness of the knob? It's not going to break, is the point. It's not going to wear with age and break off. It's always going to stay together. Well, I mean, it's little things like that show me the difference between the quality side of it. What are some other things we wanted to discuss about this, John?
I think so when you're starting off and you're in the instructions here, they're going to tell you what the torque is, and also what each one of these is for, and what you should be putting on there in terms of torque yourself. So what they're saying is to only use it, for finger tightening, only use it with the little, the little ratchet, this little knurled knob, and then all the way up to, if you really need some torque, these are the famous little ratchets.
The famous ratchets. They are the famous ratchets. Yeah.
So when you look at it, look how much more torque you can get on that versus, the size of a regular screwdriver handle. But it goes all the way up to that with these.
And of course, one of the greatest things about this, John, and I know you've done this, but if you have to get in at a 90-degree angle and actually get some torque on something, the ratchet itself has it's like, I think they said an 18-degree throw, something like that. It's very close, is the point. So you if you're working in a very tight and confined area, this is the tool right there, because you can move it with a throw of about less than an inch, and it's actually turning that thing. So the actual throw is really tight if you're in a tight and confined area, which how many times do you run into that, John?
Well, here's let's kind of be clear on that. These are very, very high precision tools. Things that you're not gonna abuse, let's say, with like a regular screwdriver. You're opening up tin cans and paint cans and all kinds of stuff. What these are really for things like fine work on maybe some antiques, clocks, motorcycle gunsmiths. If you guys are into those kind of things,
lots of automotive
aviation.
I mean, hobbyist stuff. So
getting into a cockpit,
right?
There was a lot of things I had to take apart, and it's the type of things where where do you even get those screws? You don't want to cam them out. You don't want to bust them up. You want to be very careful, or and you don't want to scuff them up either, because a lot of these fasteners are seen as part of the interior of a car, let's say.
Right.
So you don't want them all scratched up and everything. And just for instance, these common screwdriver tips, the slots, they're hollow ground.
Explain what that means, John.
That means that these are actually flat going into a screw, where they go all the way into the head of the screw. Maybe I can show it this way. If I can on this here, that explains it right here, where they actually go into the screw instead of a tapered type of screwdriver that you often find now coming from overseas.
Well, it's not even just overseas. Almost all screwdrivers are
tapered, and they're not hollow ground. And I always try to get my screwdrivers hollow ground if I could find a grinding wheel that would fit that radius, just because they won't slip. They won't slip when you put them into a regular common screw situation.
I was just going to ask you what the benefit is, and that's the benefit. It reduces slip. It reduces slip. So you don't run the risk of stripping out that screw and making it basically not only unsightly, but yesterday it's funny. Yesterday I tried to get one out. I tried to get a screw out of a faucet head, and brother, not a chance. And it's because I put a big screwdriver on it, and it just stripped it out. It was so frozen up, there just was no chance it was come out.
And then you just don't get the surface area on a tapered on a tapered screwdriver.
There's that pesky thing Johnny called physics.
Yeah, that's a pesky thing.
That's a pesky thing called physics. So, yeah. What are some other outstanding things about these?
Oh man, I'm telling you that they come with some different size extensions. So no matter what situation that you're working in, boy, you've got all kinds of options here to put these different screwdriver tips, in. And they also each one of them has a ball retainer on it.
Yes.
Okay. Hope everybody can see that. So, you put them in and they click in. So, you're working like this, and the things aren't going to fall into, your carburetor and down into the manifold.
or you're not going to lose it, right?
So, that's one of those things that, I'm sure you guys have experienced when you turn your screwdrivers upside down. Sometimes the tips start sliding out. Not a good thing when you're trying to work on some precision parts.
Well, and the other thing is everybody's experienced this even with drywall screws, right? Where you put it in, and of course the torque effectively binds the tip, and if you're using a magnetic tip, a lot of times it just pulls out, right? Well, that's not going to happen with this kind of thing, with a ball retainer. Now, those of course associatedly cost quite a bit more, which is why you really only want to use this for your finer work.
Right.
but it's just little points to bring out. One of the other things that I just really like, I can't get over the packaging. It's an all-in-one package, and it closes up and it locks, and it's made to be open and closed multiple times. It's just not going to break, which to me is, I'm sitting here looking at mine sitting on my table, which is why I keep glancing over. I just really, really like that. I like the completeness of the kit. I like all of the, everything that I see, and also knowing that I've worked with this stuff for years. I hate to say it. I really wish I could find that kit. I know I probably have it somewhere. It's probably sitting in storage someplace that I just never pulled it out and thought, oh, I'll stick this on the truck. But this one's going on the truck now because it's going to be there, in perpetuity at this point.
This is going to go in my machinist box. I've got two big tool boxes. One is for my general tools, and then I've got a machinist box, and all the fine tools are in there for those kind of things. But I don't have anything like this, or I don't anymore. I do now. But
you do now.
I didn't. But these are just some excellent tools, high quality. I know a lot of you out there have seen these, and you never really paid much attention to who made these. Because they don't really advertise.
They don't advertise. They don't really. It's just kind of one of those things. They do a tremendous amount of business with some really fun. Like they send a lot of things to gun makers, a lot in the aviation industry. They've got a whole list of some of the things that they talk about on their website, and it's just kind of fascinating. It's it's a small company. They have about 12 to 15 people that work with them, but it's been around forever. It's great stuff. We just want to stress that one other thing I wanted to mention too, as far as value per dollar, and I'm not going to give pricing because pricing tends to change, but if you really look at the whole thing, there is a tremendous value for the dollar on this set because of the amount of work you can do with the number of bits that you have. And I mean, it's just it's crazy. I mean, you really it's reasonably priced for what you get. It's a great value, I think.
Yeah.
As far as for what you get.
Absolutely. And they got a video out there where Jay Leno's he's got them in his garage.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He tells the same story you and I did. He says, you sent me one of these things. I'm like, oh, I have one of these.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like I've worked with these. If you've been fooling with this stuff for any amount of time, you've probably seen it. They've got all kinds of presentation kits. Johnny's got it up there on the screen.
Yeah, here's just kind of a right to remember their website. Check it out.
Chapman Manufacturing MFG, ChapmanMFG.com. So one thing we haven't mentioned, John, is that we do have in this video, we've got a promotional code that we're going to put in the comments, and they'll offer 15% off on the Master Set 5575, which is this set that we're talking about here. So it's a 15% discount code. It's for our listeners only, as we like to say, and it'll be in the comments, and we'll put it in there. We just have to have a way to make it somewhat time sensitive, but it is 15% off the Master Set 5575. So that again will be in the comments. Again, for all our listeners out there on the podcast side, make sure you run over to YouTube because we'll do that in the YouTube comments, just so you know. Johnny, I think the last time you were on the spaceship, didn't you find a Chapman Manufacturing set?
These things get around, man. I tell you, they tell the same story.
Everybody tells.
I think they actually came down to steal mine.
It's probably where mine went as well. All right, folks, with that signifies we're at the close of the end here. As we say, the spaceship has landed. Do we look at it or do we take it apart? But please like and subscribe to our video and podcast channels. It helps get the word out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send us an email, questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. We certainly appreciate it. We do look forward to getting your feedback on this and all that kind of good things. Johnny? Wrap it up for us.
That's it. I'm telling you, if you want to take the spaceship apart, you got to get one of these kits. I'll tell you that much right now. So, anyways, folks, have a great week. Stay safe. And we'll catch you next time. Radio Show.